We've got our top three for Masters Tokyo set, but now it's time to fight for a shot at the grand final. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the VCT Americas playoffs and our best of 5 lower bracket final. Of course, I'm Golden Boy here, the bald guy yelling at you once again, joined by Mimi, Doug, and Sean this time around. We got Doug with us. Doug, good to see you, buddy.
I'm glad to be here.
Like the New York Knicks colors.
Yeah, it's the Mets colors.
We
got to stick with the Mets colors. We got to get this right. I also just very quickly love that there's always a token bald guy, and I'm glad that that's you today.
Yeah,
it had to be you today.
In most cases, I am the token bald guy, you know, so I'm glad I could fit that role.
Is it not Team in 1?
Oh, yeah, I guess it would be. You're fired.
I just wish that it only, like, this helped me in game. Outside of that, though, we got only one match today, all right? But it's going to be a good one. It's going to be NRG taking on Evil Geniuses. And, of course, the winner of this will move on to the grand finals tomorrow to take on the Brazilian powerhouses over in Loud. But this is going to be an exciting matchup, Mimi, because we're getting EG, NRG again. These two teams had already collided before, and we're being treated for it a second time.
It's going to be such an exciting one. For that NRG core, they've still never won a regional title, despite being so good throughout the last 2 years. So getting to the grand final is definitely expectation for them. But for EG, they've already upset NRG before in this bracket. And this team continues to prove that they just can't be underestimated.
And that's all true, but today is a little bit different for EG. It's best of 5 day here, right? And this is NRG's domain. Their map pool is going to be flexed today. And can EG hang? I mean, they obviously defeated NRG last time the two met, but NRG is the type of team that in these rematches, they always seem to come up on top.
Yeah.
But that's kind of what I like about this matchup, too, is because of what we know about EG and Potter and the coaching staff, you know they've been thinking 5 map pool, 7 map pool for weeks now. So it should match up insanely well.
Yeah, you have to be prepared, right? Because the task at hand is going to be a difficult one. But we want to know what you guys are thinking as always. Use those hashtags, social media stuff. You know the old jargon. It's VCT Americas, hashtag VCT, and hopefully we can feature some of your best tweets on the broadcast. But for now, though, let's actually go ahead and send it over to Brennan Sideshow because they claim that they have a very urgent message for us, and I'm a little suspicious.
I don't trust those guys.
Think, GB, think. Think about how the season has played out. Doesn't it seem off to you? Doesn't it seem a bit weird?
I hate to break it to everybody here, but we're living in an alternate timeline, okay?
We've been looking at the science. It all goes back to May 10th. Our timeline was broken, split asunder, set upon a different course when Heat announced that he was stepping away from MIBR. It sent us on a different timeline.
And who replaced him? The assistant coach, whose name? Chosen. Hello? Little on the nose, no?
Well, this coach comes through in the clutch in a way that nobody expected and takes down 100 thieves, 100 of them, upending the playoff bracket and putting Evil Geniuses on a path to Tokyo.
But what if Chosen doesn't join the roster? Let's talk about the timeline we were supposed to be on. In the future, MIBR, they dropped the rest of their games. The playoff bracket looks entirely different.
Evil Geniuses, they're out. And instead, Sentinels and 100 Thieves make the cut. And our research, our science, it all shows it. They would be dominant. They would be a force of nature, both squads dominating the competition, becoming the league's most powerful team.
This leads to a clout war between the orgs. It consumes the internet, eventually taking down all of society. And when nature feels like he's slipping behind, he decides to use the Doomsday device.
And what, pray tell, is that Doomsday device?
What is nature's endgame?
It's hoodie sentience! The hoodies are activated, and they become self-aware. They're an unstoppable army.
But there's hope. Potter gathers together a team of resistance fighters to bring order and end to the cloud war once and for all.
It's obvious that Chosen saw this hellish clout-based future and decided to intervene. We salute him for his courage.
So if you think about it, we kind of lucked out a little bit being in the non-apocalypse timeline a little bit, didn't we, Josh?
Yeah, I mean, cannibalism's kind of off the table. The hoodies are inert. VCT's going great.
Yeah.
Tarek's all right as a president, I suppose. Things could be worse. Could be worse. Whew. Well, let's send it back to the desk.
I'm in. I'm sold. I'm sold.
It didn't happen.
It's going to happen. It could happen.
No, it's not something you opt into. It's like an alternate timeline.
We don't live in that. You
can't go back.
Take the hat off.
No, but guys, like what?
Take the hat off.
Tark's president.
You look
no,
ridiculous.
he's not.
Oh.
I mean, he's pretty much.
What year is it?
He's my president. But
fine.
Thank you.
We're going to go take a quick break. And then when we come back, we're going to have a logical based in reality breakdown. That's right, of today's best between Evil Geniuses and NRG. And if you haven't already closed out the stream, we'll see you after the commercial break.
These guys, you need to be serious, please. No more theory.
But already sticking on to the spike. It's at halfway. It's not really planning for him. He sees it. Now it's one. And now he comes in for the 4 kill. MRBR are moving up to try to take control of Heaven. Whoa! On a different level.
Welcome back to VCT Americas playoffs and our best of 5 lower bracket final between Evil Geniuses and NRG. But here's the thing. These two teams, right, they have played each other before. They're no strangers with one another. This is going to be a very exciting game to watch because I'm curious to see what has been cooked up on both sides, Mimi.
These teams started off with very different expectations. EG, the 6th seed, NRG expected to make it to Tokyo at the start of these playoffs, but it immediately usurped expectations with this upset. EG sending NRG down to this lower bracket where they've been on a run. That was the first round where they got knocked down, and they've ran it all the way back to the lower final to meet the team that knocked them down again.
And it's not just like EG's doing this by beating like bottom of the barrel opponents. No, their opponents are getting harder and harder every week, and EG is stepping up to the plate time and time again. They just keep on getting better in these games, and every time they lose a series, they learn. The first series against NRG, they let Bind through. They got torched for that, right? The second series, they insta-ban it, and look what happens. They win a 2-1 series.
Yeah.
Today, they're gonna have to expand their whole map pool though, right? So this is a true test for EG.
Yeah.
And I wonder, too, at what point, like, do you just get tired of playing the same team? Again, Demon 1 just diffed me one more time. He updrafted and he got an ace or a 3K, something like that. But I do think, you know, to go back to the fact that they have met so many times, that there are different adaptations that they're making to their map pool. Do you let Bind through again? Surely not, I would hope, given how good NRG are on the map. But EG just continues to learn. They continue to adjust, and that's what's made them so good.
And both the first 2 series were about preparation, and that will continue today. We always talk about NRG as the best squad we have in the rematches, in prepping after they take a loss. And EG as well really leans heavily into that counter-stratting. So I'm sure this mind game continues, and it adds that extra layer, seeing as they've already played twice.
Go for it.
I actually think this favors FNS, though, the most, because he's the type of player that gets all these reps. He starts understanding how the team is going to rotate. How are they going to respond to the things that we normally do? And once he can get a grasp on what you're going to do as a reaction, it's over for you.
Yeah, and you know, I'm glad you mentioned that as well, because NRG, no strangers to these runs here, right? They have made these lower bracket runs happen before, Doug. And what makes them so deadly is exactly what Sean was talking about. The fact that they're able to download their opponents, come up with strategies, come up with plans in a short amount of time, too. Let's not forget that this is only just a few hours removed from when they last just played.
Yeah, I think that's the point I wanted to make, too, was they don't have time to prep. They don't have, like, 2 days or something like that. They don't have the luxury of being able to really sit sit down and download their opponents. They're doing this back-to-back. And it's not like they're playing the same team day after day. So for them to be able to adjust and have this pedigree of success in lower bracket runs is actually insane.
And that's true, but both of these teams are under the same position where they take a win for NRG, a loss for EG yesterday, and now find themselves with very little time to prep for today. But the question about this game is, can NRG make it to a grand final? They almost always do, but despite their dominance in the past, they've never taken home a title in North America. And now it's Americas League, it's a new era, but they still want to break that streak and finally get the #1 seed into the global event, get a trophy at home, and usurp the expectations from last year.
And they're doing it in their own way, right? The community gave them so much backlash for putting artists on the Raze, on the Killjoy.
Experimentation.
So they went back into the artists on Jet. They had so much success. But what do we see yesterday? When it matters the most, FNS does not care. He put him back on Killjoy, and they won because of it. And that's the kind of risk that a team like NRG can make that make them an international contender, not just in VCT Americas.
So glad you actually mentioned that, because that leads us right to where we're heading to, right? Because we did get an opportunity to chat with artists as well as the Captain Finesse and hear what they had to say about the playoff pressure. Let's take a look.
So we played Haven twice against Guard. We got dominated. We got absolutely manhandled by Guard. So let's just say we were optimistic going into this game, but somehow we won. So only 2 scrims, and I'm happy we won. Let's just say that.
Yeah, this is the most stressed I've ever been. I'll tell you that right now. These last 2-3 weeks even have just been very stressful because we came off of a good regular season towards the end there, and then losing to EG kind of just put us right back in that mental slump for like 6 hours. So it was pretty rough, kind of bouncing off of that and then, like, you know, going into the next matches, but we knew what we were capable of when we play well.
Him talking about the pressure is what sticks with me there, because they've always gone on these runs to make it to global events, but they continue to have harder and harder events, yet they continue to adapt and come up with new things when the pressure is on them, like you're talking about, stealing now 2 of their opponents' comps and beating them with them.
I do think, too, that kind of shows a little bit of how much they want this one. Think about all the lower bracket runs they've made in their time together, and this is the most stressful one. This is where Finesse feels the most pressed. They want this one
Well,
bad.
and also, you know, it's quite fascinating as well, considering that they've done the job. They did the thing that they needed to do, qualify for Tokyo, qualify for champs, but you know these guys, they always want to press for more, and if given the opportunity, they might just take it here. But for more on NRG's comps, let's actually send it over to our crack analyst, Wyatt, who is standing by, and we're going to do this Telestrator Live. First time he's ever doing it, so we'll see what happens. Wyatt, what's going on?
So right now, we're looking at C9 versus NRG. This is one of the games where NRG actually just straight up stole the comp from their opponent, C9, who have been making this Neon on Lotus so prevalent. They've been so good with it, and wow, those circles not exactly going where they're supposed to go. All good. As you were saying, GB, still can't use it. But one of the things that NRG were doing really well in this game was taking control of A Rubble, which is what they're doing right now, which is what C9 excelled at all season. The reason C9 were so good on this map was because they were able to control A over and over and over. And I love now what NRG do here in the mid-round. They control that side of the map, they slow things down, and you can see first here, Psalm actually opens the door to send through a Sky Flash, and now they're gonna pause again, cut noise. They wait for the door rotation, and now as it's gonna come up here, you can see that they have the Paranoia ready, but then also over here on the map, they're actually ready to pivot into B off of this fake play through the door. So though, here comes that Paranoia, here comes a hit on the door. A dog is actually coming through onto A as well from Crashies. And all of that pressure, they expect to be baiting these rotates over. You can see Victor expected a close play from Zelsis there in the cubby, had the stun ready, so they're able to collect that easy kill, nicely trade out with each other on site, and they do end up winning this round. And genuinely, I think one of the things that makes NRG so good at being able to pivot into these new comps without a lot of practice is that the core 3 of this team and the calling is just so strong that even if the util isn't always perfect, honestly, it's all right. Now, this is around here on Haven where you can see that NRG are going for some A pressure. They do the standard mollies down in A short here to cut off the AWPer, and then the cascade to get long control. So now as that's going to continue playing out, Leaf is actually able to get the first kill here, but NRG are still going to decide to slowly work themselves through long where they got the control off the cascade into this site exec. You can see Rooney has picked up the angle, but Som with a nice little swing and a nice peek from Artis as well, they're able to get that first kill. And now as the team are scaling into the site, you can see the dash coming in deep there from Artis. His teammates are ready to follow up. And as it plays out here a little bit, you have Artis back site, and now Som is actually going to cascade here where they know Zelsis is positioned to cut off that angle so they can freely cross and assist Artis, who's worked his way all the way in deep there. And now you can see Som coming around, swings, gets that trade. Now they can focus their attention on Zelsis. Really nicely done, just excellent fundamentals. And what's so cool here at the end, look at this. They have all of their players stacked up just where Som threw this cove. They know his high tide is about to fall, and they perfectly time it to triple swing Zeppa, and now they're able to just run through basically freely. Jake gets one. Ultimately, though, this ends up being irrelevant. And I think this is crucial as to why these new comps are working. Even if the utility isn't as good as, say, Loud or Furia, who had been running this comp over and over, fundamentally, they are so strong and the calls are so good that they still make it work. This is them up against Furia, one of the main players of this comp. You can see Furia are going into this C split here, through Garage and Long. And on the defense, Som is using his utility wonderfully. FNS has this wall that's cutting off all of Garage, and the high tide from Som is cutting off main as well. So NRG are just playing back behind these walls. They have both of the split efforts from Furia at bay right now. And again, NRG are going to end up timing this perfectly with the wall drop on a bonus round here in the second half to just ruin these players who were set up to go for that split in Garage. It's simple stuff with this comp, but fundamentally, they are just so damn good that they can make it work even in a short amount of time, which is just extremely impressive. So, I mean, I expect to see more of this from NRG today. GB, back to you.
Thank you so much for that, Wyatt. And yeah, and actually, Wyatt, you had a great point there when you talked about the core of the team. And that kind of leads us to one of the players who has been very instrumental, even yesterday, as a matter of fact. Yeah, one hell of a game, Sean Crashies. This dude popped off. And it's that core, that Optic core, now the NRG core, that have really been finding, the success no matter who's on that roster because of players like him.
Dude, GB, he was so cold yesterday. There were so many clutches that went the way of Crashies. And the one you're seeing on your screen right now, this is one of the pivotal ones, right? This was all throughout the series. The one on Lotus, the 1-on-2 with the Sheriff we saw. I felt like he was carrying through NRG in a lot of those moments where some of the players weren't showing up.
And you know, the fun thing I think about Crashies is that it isn't, honestly, this isn't where he gets most of his value. I mean, he's outrageous in the stats. You see it internationally. He's going up against some of the best, but I'd venture so far as to say that where he makes his meals is in the information that he gets from his utility. And that's something that you don't necessarily see on the stats, but the info that he's able to get finesse to manipulate the map the way that he does is outrageous.
And we actually heard in an interview with EG that they just find him annoying to play against. The way that he manages to find value in these clutches and also in consistently finding information for his team is just so hard to play against because he's so proactive on that defensive side at getting info, at giving finesse the things he needs to make the right call.
And he has to change his playstyle so much in the past year. We went from that double initiator meta where his util didn't matter as much. Now he's the single sky in a lot of these comps, and every piece of utility matters so much.
Well, you know, I tell you one thing about VCT Americas is we give you the hard-hitting analysis, we give you the whimsy, we give you everything, all right? We ask hard-hitting questions as well, kind of like are ghosts real, for example, right? Those are things that we always wonder, right? Other things, too. In any case, why am I rambling? Let's just go ahead and take a look at the next installment of Profiles.
Ghosts are fake. I just don't believe. It's just all movies and stuff.
Ghosts are real because at home, not in my apartment, but at home, stuff would just move around, and I know for a fact that it's none of my parents, that they have to be real.
Sim, já vi no cemitério. Bizarro, eu e meu primo, nós tava andando, era num pedaço sem saída, tinha duas mulheres andando, elas desapareceram, era fantasma.
Não. Eu não gosto de acreditar em coisas que eu não consigo ver, assim.
Ghosts are real because I decided they are real right now.
No. Why not?
I mean, they never like beat me up at night or nothing or woke me up until they do. You know what I'm saying? Like they pinch me in my sleep. I wake up like, oh, who did that? No one's around me. It might be my cat though, so I'll just blame my cat.
I dip my French fries. I got two choices. I either do ketchup or hot sauce. Both of them I feel like go really well.
Ketchup, sem dúvidas. Ketchup and ranch.
Eu não molho batata em nada, só com a batata mesmo. Eu não gosto muito de ketchup, maionese.
Ketchup normalmente, pero yo creo que uno de los dippings que más me gustan es salsa de queso.
No, spicy ketchup Whataburger, like boom, that's it.
Honestly, I dip my French fries in like whatever sauce the place that I'm getting the French fries from has. Their branded sauce.
I mean, if I was an NPC, I guess hopefully I'm like a villain or something. Like I'm down for that.
Pô, aqueles villagers do Minecraft. Pô, os caras têm dinheiro demais, mano. Uma casinha, várias esmeraldas. Os caras ficam assim, ó, uma Mac.
I would hope I would be, you know, a cat or something, just so I could chill out, sleep all the time. Like if I'm an NPC, what do I care?
I've been playing a lot of Stardew Valley. I would be like Willy, where I just fish and then I sell people fishing supplies and all I do is fish all day. That sounds like it would be really relaxing.
O dono de balada. Se tiver lá, se no jogo tiver balada, eu sou o dono.
O cara que trabalha numa loja que tem todos os itens, assim, praticamente. O chefe.
I cut it diagonal. I don't have a reason why. I like biting the corner more than I like biting like the edge.
That's never even crossed my mind. That is ridiculous.
Nenhum dos dois. Amasso.
Normalmente verticalmente, porque en Chile existe el pan batido que se parte a la mitad, entonces ya viene como precortado.
Like a homemade sandwich, diagonal, 100%. Like meat and cheese, that's all you need. But not straight. Like who does it straight? That's dumb. I'll do straight.
Pô, reto, tá louco, Diego, é loucura. Quem faz isso é maluco. Caralho, você é maluco quem faz isso.
Today I learned a lot, but also want to have some sandwiches with Giacomo. All right, well, let's go ahead and move on though to Evil Geniuses. Now, they weren't able to take down Loud in that upper final, but silver lining is, Mimi, they did manage to take Ascent, and they looked relatively good. Like, they looked like they belonged on that stage with them, which is exactly what we wanted to see from EG.
And our question of EG was, can they still find the confidence, the reason to play, particularly for Demon 1 after finding out he can't make Tokyo, to continue after already kind of making a miracle in qualifying to actually push to maybe even win the event here in Americas. And I think they showed that potential versus Loud, particularly in winning that Ascent map, like you were talking about. That is, I would consider, Loud's best map, and they looked incredible versus them. Now one of only 3 teams in history to beat them here.
I might need to like take that tinfoil hat from
you. Want the tinfoil? Here you go.
I swear there was a world where EG 2-0's Loud yesterday, and they win on Fracture. That was such an impressive start to that best of 3 against Loud, and like Mimi said, Loud all time before this game was 26-2 on this map. Like they just don't lose. They lost to Optic and Fnatic on it before.
And to continue in with the conspiracy theory or tinfoil hat, whatever have you, that was Loud's second half on defense, right? Statistically, they should have won that map. They had the lead. They were going into the stronger side, and EG just diffed.
And that shows the progress for this team. From in the first few weeks getting criticized so much for their lack of fundamentals, their decision-making on their attacking side mid-rounds, to now still having those cool gimmicks, the good ideas, but also being able to adapt and call their attack sides well versus the best team right now in our league.
Yeah, it really is awesome. Now, Sean, I understand you do have a telestrator, so we're going to do something different. You're going to tag out Wyatt, and then you're going to go. What do you have for us here today?
Okay, so I want to talk about their Ascent, because they dominated NRG on it. They beat them 13-7.
Whoa, no!
And basically, when they played Loud yesterday, they did some things that you typically don't see on Ascent. So I chose this round deep into the game that actually EG loses. And I chose this because they're a team that learns very quickly, and they're going to learn from this. It looks this round like they're about to get blown out by Loud. Aspas is in a great op angle, and you can actually see Sadak on the minimap right there actually holding the angle for Cat. And when there's any pressure, what ends up happening is Sadak is going to molly it off, the counter smoke comes in, and EG gets stalled out. So what happens now at this point? You can see the pings coming in mid from Kawanzin. He's basically saying, well, we have no alarm bot in mid, so I have to stay here. I have to patrol this area. And meanwhile, what you're going to see is Boostio ask for a smoke top mid. You can see he has the lockdown if you pay attention bottom here. And what's going to happen is he's going to lock down the center of the map. And that's how EG is going to get by Aspas on short. I did not see this coming when I was watching the game live because it is such a creative play for this scenario. Meanwhile, you can see In addition to this, we have a turret holding the B push, we have the Omen holding the A main push, and the Sova is regrouping at A main. Kawanzin is going to dart mid to clear it. But you can see right now, Bustio has done a really good job of setting this up. He has taken mid right here. There was a dart into market to clear it. He puts his alarm bot down. And this is okay because he had his turret previously on B. He's already recalled it. And if you notice, it has been picked up right away from Demon 1. In addition to that, now you have a double face here at A main between the Omen and the Sova. Everything in the mid round right now is immaculate for EG. And when the lockdown comes in, you can see the rotations come in from Loud. At this moment, they have to hold mid. They have no information there. Kawanzin is rotating around. You can see Aspas rotating towards Heaven, and that forces Sadak to want to play up on main. EG does a great swing when they hear the pop flash, and that's when the split is on. You can see the two players at A main, the fundamentals to not come out of that smoke and allow the Cat players to be the first contact, knowing that Aspas would rotate Heaven is very pivotal in a round like this, and it shows that EG is super aware of the rotations. Later on in this round, and this is where I think EG is going to learn, something Loud would do if this happened to Loud, they would actually probably win this round. And the way they would win this round, they would wait for this lockdown, they would get this kill, and you would notice this would probably be Aspas right here. He would have no smokes, but how would Aspas probably approach this situation? I would guess Aspas is the type of player to updraft high. I mean, that's how he got the whole Jira meme, like the tornado thing. He updrafts, spins around, draws attention, and that would allow a peek to come in. In this game against Loud, unfortunately, the way they approached it was Demon just took a dry peek and Aspas torched them from this moment on. So I think coming into today against NRG, I think EG is going to have cleaned up this A exec, and I think this strat might be run again. And will NRG have the counter ready for it today? That's the true question. So I'm going to throw it back to GB on the desk, and he's going to go ahead and break this down further.
Thank you so much for that, Sean. And yeah, and I think, Mimi, it just, even though, there were some losing efforts there from Evil Geniuses, it's still really great to see the ideas come through for this squad.
The ideas are really good. And I think as well, after that, the adaptations, that was 9-11 at that point in the game. They managed to rally back against Loud, make that comeback possible, and win on Ascent. And I give a lot of that credit to Bustio as the IGL for this squad. Because he's a guy who was really unknown, underrated in that role for so long. And I think he outcalled Sadak, one of the best in our scene in that game. And now today, he's up against Finesse yet again.
Yeah, and that is going to be even scarier, but it helps that he does have great support behind him, like Calm Wyatt, for example, who has really had a turnaround. We've been talking about a lot throughout the playoffs, but yesterday in general, it has just been so great to see Calm pop off.
Yeah, absolutely. At the beginning of the season, he was really getting kind of dragged by the community, and he was struggling hard, but as the season progressed, frankly, he just got better and better. And I appreciate also seeing the unique looks from him, like playing the Sova on the Fracture, where he's developed a lot of his own personal technology that he's been bringing out on the map in regard to the recons, how it sets up his own Hunter's Furies. This clutch, though, in that map against Loud on Ascent was a pivotal turning point. It's what put them in position to actually win this game.
And it's the second time he's done that. Think back to their first game against Loud on Haven. It was Calm's clutches that almost had them 2-0ing Loud the first time. For this guy, beyond just what he does as an individual, what you're talking about with the little gimmicks, the way he plays on his agents is so cool. The Fracture, it's built on his Sova. A lot of other game plans, for instance, their trap plays on Ascent with the Hunter's Fury. It's all Calm. And on top of that, the mental recovery he's had is incredible. This tweet is from his dad talking about it.
Yeah, well, I mean, when you have a dad who supports you like that, of course you're going to be able to turn this around. Sean, Calm has had one hell of a run in these last few weeks.
It's been awesome to see, and I truly think the difference maker has been Demon 1 coming into this game. A great duelist will help a great initiator, and they'll both benefit from it. And I think that's what helped Calm a lot in this split so far. Early on, he didn't have Demon 1. Late on, he did.
Yeah, here's the thing. It's going to be interesting to see if the sum of all the parts of Evil Geniuses is good enough to take down NRG again, a team that is statistically very good at those rematches. It's going to be quite interesting to see how this plays out. But, guys, we have two of NA's best, and they're going to be fighting to take the first ever America's Grand Finals crown against Loud tomorrow. Will it be Evil Geniuses or NRG? Let's find out. Day 5 of VCT Americas playoff starts right now. This stream contains fast-flashing images that may affect viewers who are susceptible to photosensitive epilepsy or other photosensitivities. Viewer discretion is advised. This is do or die for a lot of these teams.
It's a culmination. Who's going to be going to Masters?
Quer finalizar esse cara? Vai contra outro!
One enemy remaining.
What is that? The knives in his hands and 4 kills.
If there's one thing we've learned about VCT Americas, is that there's always a chance.
Ei, Jesse! Faz o Calil! Olha ele! Calil!
A double swing coming across, and Victor! Oh! The trigger discipline to let up the 2 and a spike.
What was that? He's got it down to 1v1. Oh my gosh!
Next series will be against EG. I think Demon 1 is the star of that team. He's in an insane form right now, and I think he just carries that team completely.
Sadek's already there. He's gained that ground, but removed. And Demon 1!
We know what our A game looks like now. You know, all you have to do now is replicate it.
A little bit of information gathered. You got to know it's a 1-2 face there, EG, and it's Ethan.
This will be their revenge match this time. We already completed ours.
They've done it! EG has seized the moment, and they've upset NRG.
They were just talking too much after last win. They were acting like they won a championship or something.
He's been on fire in the first and second map. Look at that! My gosh!
We're coming into that game super ready, and they better be ready because it's going to be a battle.
Riot Games Arena, let me hear you! Man, you guys sound good. Let's kick off this lower bracket final and start off with NRG. Up first, Crashies, Victor, Finesse, Sam, Artist, and head coach Chet. Once again, NRG! And in the opposite corner, their opposition going up against them today in the lower bracket final. It's Demon 1, Boostio, Calm, Ethan, Jogamo, and head coach Potter. It's Evil Geniuses!
Put that on my body. The bands are with me, the fans are with me, the enemy coming, I can't protect them. Another one shining, another one diamond. I live the victory, I'm never dying. I've been at the top, made it straight from the bottom. I never give up, and so no one can stop them. No one can stop them. I picked it up in the wood, I could drop. Never get a check from the blood and the sweat manifest what it means when you gotta be the best. From the red to the set, put the body in the bench. That's muscle what it takes when you want a big flex. Never knew the taste of defeat. I'm the king in the street, know the taste of my feet. Kissing the ring to the beat, yeah, had to go big, not a price ain't shit.
EG is looking to stun the world yet again with another defeat of NRG. But if NRG is able to do what they do best, win those rematches, this could be a dangerous game that Evil Geniuses is playing. It's NRG versus EG, and it's about to go down, Mimi, and I'm excited.
For the past 2 years, NRG have been the kings of North America. This core has not failed to make it to an international event. They are always in the finals here regionally. But for EG, they've slowly been on the come up from Tier 2 last year to making playoffs, to making it into the Partnership League, and now making it all the way to a lower final. They have an opportunity to set themselves in history here in a first grand final.
EG have just been looking for an opportunity to even have a decent run in a North American playoffs before. We thought that this could happen around this same time last year in Stage 2. They played so well during the regular season, but then when it came to playoffs, they faltered, and frankly, they kind of choked. Their expectations were high, and they didn't make it far at all. But here they are now with a chance to actually make it into the grand finals with a rematch against Loud.
When we look at the individual form for these teams, I think you're siding EG here. They are hitting.
Really?
They are really hitting in the servers.
Bold proclamation.
What they did to Cloud9 was unreal, the way they dominated them in the server. Now, that's not going to play a factor today, in my opinion, because I think FNS and Chet are the type of players to really take star players out of the game. And when someone like Demon One says they're not scared of you and is shooting the bodies, man, that's going to really rile up FNS and Chet in the rematch.
Remember, NRG is the only team that managed to shut down Osbos to beat Loud in the regular season. They have a history. But for EG, this will be their first ever best of 5. It's a true test of their map pool here. And both these teams will return to their bans from the last BO3 we saw them in. EG gets rid of Bind, but that does mean NRG get their Haven as an option.
Yeah, absolutely. And EG, not too bad at Haven for sure, but I mean, Haven is just the FNS playground. His mid-rounding on that map is just
second to none.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, it's just unbelievable.
Watch them play it all day. Like, it's just too good. They're too good.
But a map that EG,
the Heineken 0.0 Ascent, they 13-7'd NRG the last time they played on the map.
And they just beat Loud on there as well. They're incredible on that map. But Lotus is one where questions arise. EG have not played this for quite a few weeks. Back then, they were running a solo controller comp, which the meta has not aligned with. And NRG has looked good. They've learned how to play this map.
Split is an interesting one for me because at the end of the regular season, I thought NRG Split was unreal. Their attack side was the just sheer amount of different looks that they had to take map control was specifically in their game against Loud. Loud were just confused. They didn't know what to do. They couldn't deal with NRG's attack in any way at all. EG also, though, pretty good on that map. Like that could be one where they might be able to squeak out a win.
Yeah, they actually traded on Split throughout their matchups in the past couple of weeks. So Split is definitely one of those maps that could determine who wins this series today.
As we get deeper in this series, I favor NRG more and more. But in these first few maps, I think EG have a great chance, particularly here on Haven. NRG, as we've talked about, just switched over to the Harbor Viper, stole it from Furia, and beat them with that comp. And while they started slow on that one, as you were talking about, Wyatt, their fundamentals have kept them solid. And this comp is really strong against Breach Sova teams.
Yeah, I was about to say the exact same thing. Breach has a tough time often against this Harbor Viper. The flashes are really often just going to get blocked off by those walls. So we'll see if they're able to get much value there. Cloud9 were able to still keep it very close against this comp yesterday. They were running the Breach themselves, so it's not out of the question.
Yeah, I think what EG is going to struggle with, they're starting on the defensive side right now. They're going to struggle with getting information in a lobby. There's going to be a Viper wall there. There's going to be Harbor Cascades coming out, and they don't have the info. If that dart is broken, it's over for them. They're just gambling at that point.
I'm watching these post spawns for NRG in the first half. Despite playing against Breach Sova teams, there was times where they were struggling to close out these rounds, particularly in those A post spawns, and I'm sure EG were watching the VODs.
And we are ready to head into the first map of this best of 5 Riot Games Arena. Let's make some noise because it's a marathon, not a sprint. And let's go ahead and send it over to your very sane and rational commentators, Brennan Sideshow.
Thank you very much, guys. Yeah, let's get to it here. Our lower bracket finals. We're getting into that best of 5 territory, and 2 teams as well that are really determined to make it to that grand finals for multiple reasons, really.
It's been a rematch it is going to be a rematch of rematches.
Yep.
So much is going to come down to the reads that both teams have. But I am so intrigued as we head deeper into this. How are the players that haven't played a big BO5 going to keep up? I mean, obviously the NRG core and Artis, extraordinarily experienced. You heard from Som yesterday, this is going to be his first BO5 in Valorant, and the entire team of EG really are stepping up into new surroundings, being in a match of this kind of caliber. It would be their first big grand final if they pull it off too. But matches like this are definitely a marathon, not a sprint. Not a sprint, sorry. Golden Boy's absolutely correct with that one. And EG are taking early A lobby control.
And this is what the comp really excels at when you're running pretty standard stuff with the Breach and the Sova. You can see them already taking full advantage of it. It's only one player, Boostio, try and hold his ground here. Standard Harbor Wall.
No, that's
not quite standard, actually. Yeah, this is a bit unusual.
Yeah, that is a weird one. And it's actually triggered an EG push out through A lobby too. Boostio might grab a couple, but also
he's got to know that
here. Be worried about being flanked.
With this deep push through A lobby, Boostio's got to be aware of it. And now, yeah, he's going to be making a call all the way through here. Crashy's unaware. Trailblazer was leading the charge. Unable to get his gun out, and the rest of EG as well starting to collapse now onto the flanks and extremities. It's Victor. Needs to win his fight and his one here into Garage. Will he be cleared out? Another refight as well. NRG opting to try and fight towards the back of the spawn and flip the map with Artis also there. Comes down to this, doesn't it? Victor now starting to back away. Looks to take the fight again, actually. Second guesses himself, and it's just down to Artis. He gained a space prior into this, pushing all the way deep into the spawn, but it's EG with every single avenue watched for and a pistol round taken away.
Already it starts, the mental battle. All going over, spraying the bodies, celebrating before they stick the defuse. Just looking to get in some damage early on. Last time these two teams faced off, NRG won every pistol round, and yet still ended up losing the series.
Yeah.
Which is quite incredible if you think about it. EG starting out here pretty strong. And the pathing was very interesting. NRG went for an unusual harbor wall, but didn't clear out Boostio properly. And then the flank as it came through didn't actually go straight into Victor in Garage. Instead, they went through B and pinched Victor. Both of these teams are going to have a very good idea of how the other plays on Haven.
I mean, they've certainly got enough reps recently.
Right.
Playing enough times. Rematches on rematches, but it's a matchup that means a lot. I mean, we were hearing in some of those pieces that were being ran before this match, NRG as well, they feel like EG are being those cocky upstarts almost as well, you know, to getting ahead of themselves.
Look at these smokes. They've managed to get Victor into a position where he's past the Killjoy utility. So this is the value of that harbor wall they used on the pistol. And they've smoked off.
Been cleared though.
Ethan clears it.
Yep, very aware.
But that's also going to mean that EG have to be worried about that later on.
Maybe make some adjustments to their own setups as a result of it, but this should be a relatively easy round, all things considered. Making sure to watch for every possible opening now. NRG forced to set their sights on to mid. Right through the center of it, hoping for a spike plan, maybe to get that money flowing, but it will not be the case. Not too much damage done at all to the overall economy. I mean, EG not even having to rebuy armor on most of their players.
We've also got an interesting dynamic in terms of the map pool here, Brent, where the first map definitely feels winnable by both sides. It was extremely close the last time that these two teams played on Haven.
One enemy remaining.
Even with the history of NRG being so excellent here.
Yeah.
And of course NRG have changed up their comp, but it really is anyone's game to start this off.
Normally the nature of these best of fives as well is where the map pool gets tested pretty heavily. This is a 4-player stack. EG looking to try and fight themselves, push deep into A lobby again.
This is the thing that EG's composition excels at. With their recon dart, with their stun, they can take A lobby control much easier than NRG can.
Oh, finesse. He's posted in an uncommon position, forced out of it with a utility. This is a reaction, an attempt by NRG to try and make the most of it as well.
Again.
Moving forwards into B and C, splitting up. Boostio at that angle, he's always getting value from that position, but this time doesn't know. At least not aware of the fact that Victor slipped into the backlines of B, and that space is granted and gained to them. All the footsteps rummaging into the backlines as well. Flipping the map, that's EG grouped together.
Com is ready for this. Look at how he's holding the A connector. He knows it's possible that NRG could try and pivot.
This is something that NRG do a lot. They take that B control, start to move into the A hit if they think that it's been pushed up deep through into A. Lobby! Close! Two it almost claiming two, but doesn't the gun not quite ideal for the job, but he's done enough damage, surely done enough work. Crashies forward. Left. This position, it doesn't get cleared. 1, 2, can he make it 3? Yes, indeed!
What an incredible play by Crashies. Take a look down at the bottom of your screen there. You saw Crashies take a moment while he was tucked in the corner, wipe the perspiration from his palms, and pulls off a 3K. Left. Just incredible.
One enemy remaining. I think that's it.
So calm in that moment.
Yeah.
And he saves his team.
And he has been a consistent top performer this playoffs at NRG. You talk about that Crashies consistency with every single event that they go to, tournament, when the pressure is highest and mounting, you can always rely on this guy to be performing.
Demon One's going to take a meander down mid here. They have the turret in a position where that Viper Orb that Finesse is throwing is not going to allow them to creep in.
Oh,
and
here he is. Dangerous, but it's not being cleared! Spray through the reactions, 2 for his troubles, and he's out of there!
Awesome play. Really well done. Finesse has been putting down that Viper Orb, and NRG have put a focus very early on in this half of trying to lurk into B. And Demon One counters it by taking that walk through. They can hear the turret. They know that there's still Killjoy utility there. They don't expect the jet. Often this alarm bot is going to trigger a flash peek, which is why Victor backs up after breaking it.
Trying to bait out that aggression. 50 seconds remaining. Close to the corner. That's Boostio tucked. And I see a battle of the Killjoys taking place. Victor seems to be aware of it, though, knowing that these deep positions could be played for, especially with the smoke in his face. He was precisely on it. Just knew what to expect there.
Very aware.
So it gives him the plan. High tide ripping his way across. That's going to be covering up into heaven. Does give the opportunity now for EG to actually get a little bit deeper out into the site. There's a nanoswarm sitting as well for the first wave of utility. Just at that choke point. It's broken though. Snakebite to replace it. This is going to be pushing him further back. Time is starting to tick. Ethan holding his flash, and will there be a push off the back of it? Just a swing from him, seeing if he can gain anything. Fight's being taken all over the bloody map. One player remains, it's Victor. A draft play to the side here, nobody quite sticking it. The shorty swing, Nanoswarm stuck but fades away, and enough time being bought.
EG barrel themselves forwards with a very nice retake there. It feels like NRG struggled more so than we've seen from Loud and Furia to turn this composition into a heavy post-plant.
Absolutely.
You look at the VODs of how NRG play this, they're really smart at being able to get into sites. It's all of that past finesse, mid-rounding capability on Haven. It's always been excellent. But when they actually get to a site, you watch Loud play this map with the Viper Harbor comp, it feels impossible for teams to retake.
Yeah, they're replacing the Viper Orb, the Cascades, they're alternating that so you can't get through the smokes.
But here, the Viper Orb is used in B, that one of the nanoswarms is on the plant, and so you don't have that same cascading utility at the spawn doors to keep EG out.
Normally you ain't getting through it at all.
So it's a very different approach to the way that NRG play post plants, and that I think could be something that EG look to exploit. NRG going to take a timeout here, and one of the other things it looks like EG were exploiting a couple rounds earlier is Boostio playing in top garage. And it seems like Som is fairly new to playing Harbor on this map. Finesse was talking about how new he is playing Viper on the map too. There are going to be holes in these wall setups where that kind of stuff is not present when you look at Loud.
Yeah.
And Boostio playing in that top garage area, we've seen on the pistol round and then in round,
what is it?
I don't know, 3 or 4.
There's that massive gap in terms of the way it's being placed. And don't get me wrong, this is hard. I was trying to attempt this the other day for a segment that we were running. It's hard to cut that across, to block off the entirety of that top garage. You have to be really precise with it. And this is a new wall that they're throwing out for the first time. They weren't doing this in their prior showcase of this Haven double wall comp.
Absolutely.
This is new. So this is something that they've cooked up overnight. So of course there's going to be little errors here and there. And Boostio so far has been getting tremendous value just in that spot.
It looks like they're going to run the Fnatic set play here, which to me
Hunter's Fury
seems like a bit of a waste when you're on such an anti-eco round.
Yeah, here we go. Dart over the top. Flashes wild to push it deep. And attempt to push into mid. Gets that connection, that tag. Expecting there to be more players towards it. One tag maybe there, not quite. No damage done, actually. The Hunter's Fury didn't stretch far enough.
And they didn't send Demon 1 fast into mid-window, so I thought they were going to extend Demon 1 and potentially donate a Vandal. Instead, it's just a bit of a wasted Hunter's Fury. Not the worst thing in the world.
Victor does have his own lockdown. So there won't be that big ultimate to counteract it. A flash repeat. This is another thing that's been in the playbook of EG. They love to get aggressive in those moments and find those timings. Really great one there. Offered the kill. It is the weaker buy for NRG still, but never know. Might be some danger in it. Victor with the rifle. He wants to lead it in for his team. Only the one. Traded. Shut down. Barreling forwards into the site. Demon 1 seeks to contain. Spraying it forwards. A dash to disengage. And Ethan is going to be watching.
One of the biggest things that was tripping NRG up the last time these two teams played on Haven was EG's propensity for playing aggressive in spots where NRG weren't expecting it. Jorgamo and Boostio are very aggressive site anchors. For two players that are out here on Killjoy and Astra, they love to swing, they love to disrespect utility, they are hard anchoring and pushing for info in spots like that. And it caught NRG so off guard previously. This is a fantastic start for EG.
Standing ahead.
Dart taken care of. Cascade in the face of Com. Bit dangerous to spam that. Always a chance as well that they could end up firing some bullets back and taking them out, but no, just backs them away. Their early presence by NRG, trying to fake like they could have crossed into A. And the call is made by EG to completely give it up for the retake. You can see the positioning of Com. He's not even worried about it. He's so far back into their own spawn. Now Demon 1 needs to be the playmaker. Dash just about gets out.
Almost caught.
Refight with the Seekers. Smokes in their faces. Nobody can get through that.
But incredible how much Demon 1's just holding his ground. This is what I mean. EG do not like to respect utility and back up. I would not be surprised to see them fight inside this lockdown.
Yeah, he's looking to try and refight. That's so deep pushed towards the double door. Spam onto it though.
Look how bold they are!
He has to get out, has to respect that. He was hoping that somebody would try and take that timing. He's detained, so not able to get out of there. NRG, still a chance to try and plant this one. They wanted to try and take the fight to them. A lot of damage done with the Odin work, but not enough to claim more than just the one kill. Two players left standing for EG, and a full wraparound from NRG. They love to do this one. Take that space into B, through the connector now, a free plant onto the A site.
And this should be a very difficult spot for EG to get any value out of. A 2v4. Without really much playmaking utility either. They're going to rely on Jorgamo and Demon 1 to try and frag out. It's Finesse watching the flank. Are EG just playing for exits here? Doing damage to the NRG economy would be excellent in this spot.
Toxin screen down.
Yeah, hoping to try and fight some players as well who are vacating, saving the guns. It was almost fully purchased out by NRG, so they've got nothing left in the bank. If they lose these guns, it would be quite bad for them. EG hoping, yeah, bit of spam onto the corner there.
I'm surprised they're not playing more aggressively to try and deny these.
I mean, they can buy for next, but yeah.
Yeah, Demon 1 with a Blade Storm online. I mean, they could have tried to fight those NRG players, escaping just a little more heavily. Two huge ultimates for EG to play retake with in this round and the next coming up. NRG's the kind of team that will often try and play around that, anticipating their team, their opponents rather, to be playing retake on A, for example. NRG's one of those squads that will occasionally mix in a pure contact push into the A site. I wouldn't be surprised to see it here with EG just play full retake A after Com spams a little at the start.
Not as much damage as I thought. It's Crashies who's receiving the brunt end of that. All that Odin spam, giving up the space once more.
This is going to be Finesse's job to stop Demon 1 getting a fast flank off.
You can see the amount of confidence that Demon 1 has. I mean, pure disrespect. You wouldn't think he's playing against the uncrowned kings of North America, but he's already bested them once before. Aims to take the duel, aims to take the fight. Finesse. Too aware for that.
Great anticipation. Already, though, you see Jorgamo going for that same repush down C. So turning a 4v5 situation into more risks, more playmaking.
Feels like a heavy read, though. Look at this. I mean, Finesse has still got his crosshair lined up on that angle. Almost like he expects it.
There's still 45 seconds. Here
Holding
comes
to the push. And just narrowly accepting that timing. Listen, it was strained, but he gets the job done. pushes on pushes. Ardis, he's creeping his way up towards. Gonna break some of that util. Has to use the dash to get out of there.
There is not much time here.
25 seconds.
Right here.
Where are they landing? Spike now starting to make his way towards B, walking forwards. Orc goes down, and Boostio. Cheeky play by Crash. He's trying to lurk his way into this one. There's 15 seconds left. They got to get a move on. Time is really running short here, and the connector's just not quite theirs yet. Smoke pushing them back. Cascade. Is there going to be a gap in it? Rolling Thunder away. Carving through into the side. Boostio will fall. 4 seconds remaining. This plan, it needs to be stuck. Someone deal with the dart. Surely Som sticks it. He gets it down. An extension of the round at least, and a chance to win for NRG. But it's a 2 versus 3. Come onto the corner, smokes the reposition. Ardis tries to pick up the rifle, and he does get it in his hand, still with the knives. Moves forwards here. Com is alone, right click. How's he managing that? Small margin for victory. Ethan and Jorgmo trying to play together here. Ethan holds that one, and Jorgmo takes the second. Clean with the retake, when it could have all come crumbling down.
A good try from Ardis towards the end, but that was a mess of a round from NRG. They were expecting layer upon layer of aggression from EG, and they just ended up standing there, losing 2 people lurking into different sites.
There they are.
Ran out of time, and no real idea of where they wanted to finish or how they wanted to finish.
And I think it's
they're scared of ending A.
Yeah, it's almost uncomfortable from them, I believe, probably because they haven't put too much time into this double wall comp. They're used to, you know, being able to pivot in whatever directions they want, running a more standard comp like what EG has, but
perhaps. But I think also you look at the way that EG are playing. They're almost full retake A in these prior 2 rounds with Breach Ult and with Lockdown. And NRG have not even been prodding in that area apart from Ardis going there earlier just as a lurker in round 7.
Now they've gained a lot of space here. Second layer of that utility with the Reckoning on top. Perfect for trying to clear out, push back these EG players who are looking to try and anchor hard. Should gain them the site. Here's the lockdown use though. Anything to counteract that one doesn't look likely, so some will get that plan down, but they're all going to have to be leaving this side unless Ardis wants to go down with the ship while he pushes forwards. Attempt to catch a timing as they were trying to get back into this with the Viper's Pit. It's going to be blocking them. It's going to come down to that just, again, the random spam, the RNG, a bit of play here, even sticking it all the way. They can't quite land the shots. They can't land the util. It's pure improvisation, and it does not work. Not for NRG.
For NRG, that is, I don't even think it is improvisation, Brent. I've seen them run that same Viper's Pit play in the game yesterday, where we saw them play up against a lockdown retake. And in that situation, they also failed to execute on it. The Viper's Pit didn't even extend to the spike.
Yeah.
They knew that that was the play that they wanted to make, and yet still there are holes in it. We are definitely seeing EG's more drilled, practiced composition here, finding a lot of success. Finesse was talking about how they wanted to move over to Viper Harbor because they thought it was simply better on Haven, even though they didn't have as much practice. That theory isn't quite working today, is it?
No, not quite, but you're starting to see it really manifest as well, that uncomfortability playing it, even if they do think it's the better composition. They're missing too many pieces when they get into the post plants, if they can even get to them in the first place. This time again, just a heavy reliance on trying to lean into the A hits here. Bit of a pump with the util, cut noise. Now 3 of the EG players are still onto the other side of the map. Jorgamo takes the angle, takes the fight. He's rewarded, still there as well. Wants to take the fight to them, doesn't back away. Lucio to watch one of the angles, an interesting smoke. Fades away, dissipates, and it's offered for the trade. NRG getting that one. Finesse watching for that re-flank and re-peek. 2 players left standing. Stun, misses. Finesse, he's still alive in this, and well, almost getting it with the spray down. Left down to just Com, and at this point, does he still try and go for this one? It is a 1v2.
Tough one for him. Has no idea that Som and Crashies are going to be playing here.
So pushed up. Yeah, this crossfire setup should never be failing, but does he have the awareness? He does! Doesn't quite land it, though. Crosshair was correct. Made the right reads.
And I'll give Finesse and NRG this credit. They are stopping Demon 1 from having major impact in those kind of rounds. Sure, Demon 1's still at the top of the scoreboard, but Finesse is extremely aware, watching for that flank play, knows where Demon 1 is going to be peeking from. My question is, are they putting too many resources and too much thought into that aspect, rather than being able to execute their own plans properly? They've still got chances to recover this half, but at the moment, it is great looking for EG.
Push-up attempt now into mid. Maybe the goal being to try and break some of that utility. There's a deep alarm bot that doesn't get dealt with. Not a Trailblazer. War misses. Som cuts it short. That's a bit of a mistake there, I believe. It's supposed to go straight into the back of C, and it's created an opening. Jorgamo playing into the back of his side. He's got a teammate to help him out with the dash there. Ardis, how is he getting that one? It's traded still. Victor creeping and crawling, lurking into that window angle. NRG make the most of it. Was that intentional or was it a mistake? I'm not too sure. Either way, NRG are sitting comfortable now onto the site.
Yeah, Som didn't go for the normal high tide, but he actually covered it up with the cascade and allowed Victor to push behind. I think that's more to do with trying to persuade EG that, oh yeah, it's the normal high tide, don't worry, we won't have a garage lurker, and then suddenly Victor's there. I think NRG are trying to take the expectations and move them around a little. Small details. Once more, another round, by the way, where Demon 1 was posted up in short early on, didn't get a chance to play.
Yeah, avoided.
They didn't know that he was in that area, but didn't throw their normal A short. Kind of default, just went straight to C.
I've heard teams as well talk about Demon 1, the same level of respect that you put onto the name of players like Aspas, where you really do build almost your entire game plan around avoiding him as a player, mitigating what he can do. Demon 1 said himself he realizes it when people are trying to avoid fights against him, and he plays even more agile. He's hopping around the map as well when he knows that they're just trying to avoid him. He plays just that much more freeing.
That's part of the problem. When you play against great players, you want to give them a lot of respect. You want to make sure you're very disciplined, but that can often give them more space and more time to get their work done. I feel like you would be a better rank player if you let a little rat play for you instead.
Me?
Yeah.
What, just in the top of my head?
Yeah, just had a little Ratatouille pulling on
Ratatouille-esque. Is this where the drama of our Premier games comes out, Josh, where we couldn't make finals? Is this where it finally comes out?
EG are going to take a timeout here. Make sure that things don't slip away for them. It's a big opening map. It's a BO5, many different ways that this series can go.
Yeah.
But I feel like there's some maps where you favor one team heavily over another. I mean, I'm thinking about Ascent coming up, next map. EG, one of 3 teams all time to be able to beat Loud there. They looked phenomenal at it yesterday.
Definitely going to be comfortable there. And so they don't want to let this lead that they've gathered in this first half slip away. That's the purpose of this timeout now. NRG starting to get a grip on it.
And NRG, round 9, round 10, they were just a little faster in terms of their execution. I mean, 8 as well. They were just trying to take an area of the map, go into and execute. Not mess around so much in terms of the faking and the mid-rounding. And they're grouped up fairly heavily, a 4-1 default over towards A. The wall threatens it could be B, but the turret is quite nice to still give them information from EG.
1-1-3 on the attack side, default of NRG. Taking the space now towards A long. Deeper cascade than usual. You can see that's why Ardis is spamming all the appropriate corners, making sure that nobody could have really been hiding behind that. Now setting themselves up, looking for a potential hit into this one. Ardis activating his dash, but it's going to be meeting 2 players, anchoring deep. It's Boostio. He's got his teammate to back him up, lit up, can't land the shots. Com's still alive, but not for much longer there. It's cleaned up. Spike also exchanging hands, dropped to one side so Crash can get that plant down. A deep cove so nobody can push through. And a Cosmic Divide was used a little bit prior to this one. That might be going to waste. There needs to be an attempt from EG if they want to flood into this one. But Demon 1 is trying to retake with the Operator.
Should be challenging for him.
Yeah, we've seen him work magic. Fault line, flash deep down onto the corner. Angles watch, Stephen, he carries it too! Down to Demon 1, the flick shot, it hits! A connection through the wall, damage done, lands it, rifle, it's an upgrade! Time ticking, short, Som! Shuts down the Demon before he really lands his mark and makes his mark across the site. NRG getting another one, creeping closer now to trying to equalize in this half.
I can't believe what Ethan the Demon 1 were almost able to pull off there. Also want to point out that's Com using his drone to tag Ardis as he comes through and set up for a potential kill. Somehow Ardis survived. I mean, EG on their defense side are so determined to hard anchor these spots. It's not a flood, it's that the 2 people on A are going to hold A until they die. And it's on NRG to push them out. final round. In this half, Ethan and Com over towards A, both initiators as Demon 1 and Jorgamo
very early drone and the Hunter's Fury as well with a stun to connect. And the damage, it's there.
Spike down A.
A collection of crashes falling early. Deep pushed into mid, that's Demon 1. Victor was aiming to just get a bit of that spam damage in, maybe just feign like it could have been more of them. It's fallen to pieces before their eyes. EG set themselves up to get that 7-5 half and a refight as well for the back of the site. We know they're not shying away from it at this point. It's a heavy read into it, to the side of the smoke. Som punishing the hubris of Com to try and take that fight. Finesse this time is pushed all the way up.
He knows that Boostio is still around here. The turret's active. Boostio only has a Sheriff and a Judge right now.
Yep. I'm starting to feel it, isn't he? Snake bite towards the back. That's going to break the alarm bot. Boostio actually doesn't know that this timing could be granted. Deep into window, and it's all about this. It's being watched for, though. Jorgamo holding it at the off angle, expecting there to be a reclearance at this hand. He lands it.
I can't believe he's ready for that.
What kind of game sense is that? Expecting that kind of play, and Sommy's left to do the most with just 30 HP. His position is being quickly approached. The Rolling Thunder, it's set up. It should be the slam dunk, and indeed it is. 7-5 at EG. Keeping their lead going here in this first half of Haven.
And overall, an excellent start for them. EG were able to find so much success out of hard anchoring sites, and then also being able to pull off retakes where they've got some level of advantage or 4v4.
Get out of my way.
Because NRG just couldn't quite hold on. This is still anybody's game. Both teams look good at Haven.
Just that slight lead for EG. Tendency that they lean towards the aggression, the refights taking those timings. It's also interesting the way they play this map, but it's going to do it for the first half of Haven. It's been quite the pace indeed. Sean is actually standing by the telestrator wall to break down round number 3.
Yes, indeed, Bren. So this is round 3, and the reason why I chose this is because it's the exact setup they ran on the pistol round to start the game. And we questioned on the desk, how would EG approach this Viper wall over here at A? It denies all info. And if the Sova dart gets broken, there's nothing for EG to do. If the Jet gets pushed back on short from a molly, there's nothing for them to do. There's no way for them to re-get that info. So how does EG approach the early stages of this match? They quad push A. And this is such a good idea because of how they have their Killjoy setup situated on the other side of the map. So again, looking at what they've done now, they have the alarm bot over here at C, holding C. They have a turret holding B, as well as a nano on the default plant spot. And if you notice, Boostio is actually just completely tucked inside the window of Garage. Meanwhile, the 4 players are pushing the only other open area of the map. They progress up, and they have the extra star down for a potential grab well if NRG were to take this lobby, but they don't, so they recall. The next layer of the strat comes out. Com is gonna bust out his drone, and that is gonna spot FNS in this left corner right as the smoke fades. If you pay attention, Demon is chilling here. What does he have? A Guardian. That's perfect. He can spam right through the wall. But what happens now is actually really insane. So if you look, there's actually a breach flash coming in and aftershock coming in. There's Com's dart. Com's dart is on this tree pinging FNS. And meanwhile, the push is coming through. They were gonna push through this no matter what. Com backs off, and the awareness of Com to actually hold through the link push throughout this entire time is amazing. He's very aware. But what EG can't account for are the star players on NRG, like Crashies and Victor. And Crashies nests in this spot, gets the 3 kills to close out the round, and that's what kept NRG in this game early. Clearly, EG has made a lot of adjustments. The first time the teams met, it was 6-6. Today, they have more. Can they close out this game? Back to you guys, Sideshow and Bren.
Appreciate it, Sean. Yeah, clearly adjustments being made by EG. Already seeing evidence of it as well. I mean, the last time these two teams faced off, it was NRG taking all the pistol rounds in that series. And this time, EG leading with the first one, looking to grab the second here and now. And honestly, it's all honest. 4 of the players grouped up from EG towards C long. A bit of a jump spot just to begin. Boostio as well. Got the confidence. He's got the Sheriff.
Recalling my bot.
Just waiting for any early aggression and then going straight into this hit.
Turret taken down. It's going to be propping up the Viper wall. On Finesse. In theory, with a double wall comp, you should be able to retake quite effectively. Cutting off those sight lines as well, partitioning up the site as it happens. Jorgamo.
Big kill.
Yeah, loses his fight there watching the flank. That's Victor, and his job was the re-clearance. An attempt to fight deep here, maybe from EG. Want to use the initiator util that they do have. Cascade, though, in the face. Demon 1 slowed down. Trailblazers a stun. It connects. And will there be the kills to follow up on it? Sung a bit of chaos into this one. Deep flash into the back. Victor strikes with 3 so far in a round.
The players are weak.
Hoping to make it 4, but yes, the players are weak. And a couple of taps of the ghost might be enough. Half under the fuse. Has he bought enough time? Victor sticking it to dart. Doesn't have time to break it. It's calm.
Don't worry, you're with me.
What a player. And he has been stepping up constantly over the playoffs.
And so often he finds these moments playing off his utility. These sneaky recon darts, the way that I've seen him win clutches from that position, just using shocks off the wall, for example. That time, accurate spam through smoke into a recon dart kill. Excellently done. NRG were running a lot of flood defenses against Furia when it was the double wall matchup and the mirror. Here, they may end up playing more heavy retake style instead of running in to help the site anchors. In order to get a read on that, take a look at how Som is using his high tide. Does he use it as EG are going for the plant to funnel people in, or is he waiting for all of NRG to group up? That time they went for a set retake. Victor's just trying to bait them into this C stack.
Yeah, a bit of a stack with 3 of the players there. Garage still being watched for by Ardis. And it's NRG just trying to, listen, break the pieces of util, the dart or whatever else that comes through, make sure that they show some presence, but not all of it, because they want EG to walk right into their sightlines. The question is, do EG have that discipline to clear the close corner? Som takes another bite of the apple, but, well, actually pays for it. The Guardian spam through the box, another attempt by Ardis as well with that swing, and this is a deep push, isn't it? A risk to be taken, but it's an eco round, so acceptable from Crashies. He's lurked his way in, and he can hear the footsteps now. He's going to be making the call. That rotation is happening, and he's going to be looking for his own time to strike here. Comms found! Spam from the classic. Spike dropped down. He's just buying even more time. And EG set to scramble. They left Demon 1 in a forward position, and now they're going to be, again, setting their sights back towards C. Demon 1's called the rotation. He heard them all getting out of there.
And Crashies has told the rest of his team, 2 already passed me, they went to A. So everyone on NRG scuttles to the wrong side of the map as EG regroup in a post plant that should be winnable, despite the fact they're in a 3v4.
Should be winnable. It was looking ever so slightly disastrous, but the aim, you can always rely on it with Demon 1, this guy. The menace. It's down to the 3-on-3. You can pick up a couple of upgrades in the moment here. You can see a fast flank attempt. 2 players of NRG starting to run their way up towards C long. Dash is there, and Demon 1 spotted it. 2 of the players inside of Cubby. They'll be dealt with. There's really no chance in hell that they're able to win this one. You can see NRG already setting themselves up to go down to the spike, not give away any more ult orbs. This is EG looking more than clean right now. Well versed, well prepped. Both pistol rounds under their belt. They win the anti-eco. Without too much damage done, can set their sights on the bonus, but the map pick of NRG not paying off like they potentially hoped.
And actually, it's been incredibly even outside of the pistol rounds. And that's, I think, what you could have kind of said about the last time that these 2 teams clashed on Haven. NRG won the pistols, and it spurred them to a very close victory on this map. These teams are essentially dead even outside of those situations. We'll see whether that continues as we head deeper.
Right there.
Double bounce to the Shocky in case there is that deep alarm bot, but we know otherwise. Towards Garage, EG. A bit of mid-rounding here. Exploring towards mid and Garage, just to try and break some of that Killjoy utility. That was their goal, and now they can set their sights also over towards A. Ethan.
They've spotted Ethan. Usually the breach would be with the pack, but that's not the case this time.
Reclearance. Crashies is not set up with any sort of utility. He just takes the fight. Making sure to watch for that one. Som did contain the first swing, but Ethan's there to trade, and
Jorgamo wasn't seen.
He was not.
Could he be a danger?
Yeah. Flash.
Not seen again.
False info. He's pushed up onto the corner. Crashies. Didn't have his crosshair for it, but wasn't a rifle in the hands of Jorgamo, so he couldn't quite punish that deeper swing.
Nice idea from EG, though, in this round, but it hasn't paid off. NRG going for those aggressive re-clears of areas, similar to what we'd seen from Boostio in the first half.
30
this
seconds
time, Crashies doing everything for his team. But I do like the idea from EG of having, weirdly enough, your breach be the lurker in a weird round like this. They're just trying to throw off Finesse's read of where the main stack of bodies is.
Aiming to try and get themselves onto the B side. Ooh, the spike. Jorgamo with the plant. Enough to swayed him. The util actually missing, but all the kills collected regardless. So NRG do sail their way through into that bonus round, relatively unscathed. Not giving away too much there.
But I don't think EG will pull out plays like that very often. One of the things they like to do on maps like this is take an area early, set Demon 1 up as a lurker, strangely enough, on the jet, and then potentially return to him later on. We actually saw that kind of in round 14 when they went back to Demon 1 over at C.
Planted.
It was intriguing hearing Les talk about his experience playing against Demon 1, saying it feels weird playing against him. He doesn't put that much pressure on you as an entry. He feels more of this lurking presence.
Right.
Although he certainly can do it when EG group up for an exec. But they don't really play full execute heavy very often, this EG squad. They're normally a bit slow mid-roundy on Haven.
Yeah, they tend to a slower beginning. Make sure that they break that killjoy utility, hunt for picks off the back of it. Now Artis has got his dash active, so he wants to make something of it. Deep push. Down here. Was that the alarm bot picked up?
Yeah. Why has that happened?
Too sure.
Did Jorgamo think that Artis had left? Artis might have just found the perfect timing.
Yeah, there's a gap in the play if he can exploit it.
Meanwhile, like I said, Demon 1 set up as a bit of a lurker over in A lobby. That's where NRG are going towards. Jorgamo had no idea, and Demon 1 gets cleared out too.
This is NRG with every advantage going their way, every duel going their way. Spike to be planted here. Fast flank attempt by NRG. All three of them swinging around to the side. An easy collection. Ethan dropped down. Com last one standing. This was an investment from him. He wasn't even aware of that. Seeker right at his back, spotted him exactly. So, all 5 players surviving for NRG, despite losing both of these pistol rounds. Now starting to try and get a handle on the map overall. Maybe bring it even.
The common theory with these compositions is that on defense, with the Harbor Viper, you kind of need to fight for mid and garage because you can't control A lobby early. And what NRG are doing is instead allowing EG to take A lobby, and then when they leave that area, re-pushing it. I think that's very smart, and it also works into the way that EG like to play. When they take A, they very rarely end A instantly. They're not an exec-heavy team.
Oh. An attempt to get something started here for EG.
Strike down A.
Sent straight to the dust.
One enemy
It's the half by. They were just hoping as well to see if they could pick off any sort of players. Spikes in the middle of nowhere. Com.
He gets a weapon out of that.
Yeah.
But he is kind of trapped.
Very much so. Be hard pressed to try and survive into this one. And it's a real new testing staging ground for EG as well as a team. You know, they've held this lead so far on NRG's map pick. We were talking a little bit about it, but you know, this entire season has been a bit of a marathon. I think that really does showcase as well when you get into the best of 5s, deep into these playoffs, because that's where your map pool starts to get tested. And for EG,
enemy remaining.
Ethan in the past has spoke about that lack of endurance that they've had, being able to really close out some of those crucial series. We saw that against Loud when they played them. I think EG will be looking to grab that map win of NRG's map pick here on Haven. If they get that early on underneath them, they can go into Ascent with a lot more confidence, knowing that they can really maybe just close this one out. But it is slipping away from them, that chance. Stun and a pull. Just to put the punish now onto Crashies. He has been flashing from that spot.
Once more, they take A control early on, and it's Demon 1 just kind of left lingering around in A lobby as EG explore towards the rest of the map. And Victor and Artis have taken this timing to go and control C. They're set up in a very nice bait and switch here. Ethan may want to play for the orb. or they might just go into the C exec. Either way, Victor's in a good spot.
Throw and Hunter's Fury doesn't clear it. Victor onto the corner, he can't get anything done.
He couldn't see for the Hunter's Fury.
And talk about the bait and switch. I mean, Victor, the luxury of multiple targets, the deep push down crashes, and Som laying down the bullets, laying down the fire, and everybody wading right into them. No reaction, another day in the office.
Look at how quick NRG are to take map control on defense based off those timings. I mean, as soon as the drone is used and as soon as Ardis and Victor get any level of contact towards C, Crashes and Som have already barreled through a lobby, watching out for Demon One. And then that's the last one, lining them all up. EG, they need to call a timeout here because on a strategic level, Finesse has got the read.
Yeah, it's going missing, isn't it?
I mean, he just knows how EG are working their map control.
Dependencies, right?
Yeah, he's
a little burst of it, explore somewhere else.
Yep.
And all NRG are doing is like, okay, wherever they use util at the beginning, we're going to just take the opposite side of the map. We're going to push out, we're going to take that space, and we're going to punish when they start to rotate and go somewhere else.
And then we're going to re-clear the first area of the map that they took. I feel like this is a very smart read coming out from Chet and Finesse. But how do EG respond to it? How does Potter respond? I would like to see them go for a big execute. It doesn't have to be necessarily this round. Their economy's in shambles. So as long as you can mentally weather the idea of going down 9-10 and giving NRG the lead for one of the first times, as long as you can still feel comfortable in yourself, next round, go for a big A exec with the breach shell. Get Demon One in, aggressive, set him up for success.
Turret out.
It's that half buy, fiscally responsible from EG. Not an overinvestment, making sure that they can keep carrying it forwards into the next. So in all likelihood, they will be going down in terms of that round differential. They do need to start throwing something new into it. Here we go, investing in ultimate. Okay, Cosmic Divide splits up the site. The side effect as well of potentially faking like it could be that B hit, dash forwards. That's going to be heard by Victor. He's stunned up though, close to the corner onto default. Will he get cleared out into this spot?
This is a weird spot.
Yeah, it's carnage really, isn't it? Two players walking right into Som. Deals with them handedly. The operator watching as well for the window swing, and we know nobody's there. The rest of EG now onto the site. Finesse is hunting for that timing. He hears it, plans how to go off. Wide face, one still there close, tries to adjust it with the spacing and the movement. The lockdown would have dealt with it if Victor did not. And so, going up to 10 here for NRG. They did have to invest ults into that. Or at least felt it necessary to invest the lockdown, even against the half-buy. So maybe EG can consider that a win, but they also ended up using an ult of their own with the Cosmic Divide.
Yeah, that's an interesting one. I'm surprised that Victor goes for it, but it does secure the round for NRG. This really, though, this round coming up is going to be the one I think that Potter's taken the timeout for. That was a cheeky eco idea, but now we get to see the real strategic adaptation that EG have gone for. It's 9-10. They're feeling the squeeze currently, and like you said, Bren, they would love to get out to a good lead in this BO5 and finish NRG early.
Control being brought back. Shot dart. Does break the alarm bot here, so maybe now sightlines and eyes are going to have to be allocated towards mid, just in case. Noise being heard in mid here. Victor calls that, forces out that high tide, a close box to the angle. You don't really expect this, but it's normal for teams to spam this if they do take that garage control. Now they remove the turret through the wall. And what do they want to land into? Is it a sightline of Ardis?
The garage control, yeah, it has pulled everybody away apart from Ardis.
Here we go. Drone does spot that, so they know there's an operator onto the site, but the fault line as well slows him down. All the way back. Now the Rolling Thunder as well. This will definitely be carving deep into the site. There's a Viper's Pit that's used and dropped down. On top of it! It's all combined. Util towards the back. Demon One is set up. It's a field day for him.
What a pull!
And look at this.
Jorgamo's
there, doesn't expect the second. It's returned with the fire, but I feel like the job is done.
The job absolutely done there. Gorgeous play. Con throws it. So As soon as Ardis takes contact with the operator, he sees the drone, he backs up, he calls for Finesse to come in, put down a Viper's Pit. We are holding A. That's what NRG are thinking. EG respond by breach ulting and pulling at spawn. Look at these guys. They're stunned up. They can't move. When you're slowed like that, there is no way to escape the pull. And there's even a recon dart that flies in there just to make sure that they can't be at back default.
Yeah, great combination.
I'd like to see them do that again. Boostio put down his alarm bot early in A lobby so that he has info if NRG repush that area, and then they go into a very standard A exec. I think ideas like that are going to work for EG.
It did take some ultimates to make it happen. NRG, something a little bit new. Ardis is deep pushed up now towards A lobby. Flash not connecting. Maybe Crashies will rotate, but still just jiggle peeking. EG, on the other hand, hearing out that turret. That's going to be an aftershock used just for the turret. I mean, it's broken. Stun as well into that garage, taking control of it now as well, trying to clear out that utility.
Recovering it. Need that back.
It's that standard mid-rounding from EG. Making the most of it. But we're now down to just below the minute mark in the round.
And Com has saved his drone. Same as the final round, same as the previous round, sorry.
Crashes needs to break this.
To push Ardis away.
Yeah,
you're right.
It's called. Ardis calls it. But with that being broken so early...
Look, they expect it.
Yeah. That's why they're spamming that. This is why it's so hard to chew through the double wall comms, the high tide propped up. Up close now, though, the lockdown. That should push them back off of the B site. Pinging onto the common corner as well. Star at the feet, all the way back. When he's propping that one up, Finesse. Time running short, dash forwards, Demon 1. He's wasting no time. Striking within those minute opportunities. There was a bit of util to set him up on top of it, and this flank, well, flanks on flanks.
That's really nice. Ardis is making noise, turns the head of Jorgamo, and they get that pinch play.
Yep, this has got to be called now that there's two players that way. Come down to just these fights being taken. Turret off to the side. Does it get cornered yet? Oh, well, double face, double swing! Ethan! He can't be removed, he can't be denied. He gets his two, and he's made the decision easy for NRG. Hard pill to swallow nevertheless, but they do have to back away and just accept that they're not winning this round. This is EG taking the lead.
Great play from Ethan. I mean, he should go down there. The way that Ardis and Victor have played it is nice, but they're just a little shaky on those shots.
Yeah.
So EG coming out of that Potter timeout have really turned things around. What a recon. That one's like William Tell. Shot an apple off Som's head.
They're just insane. But always supporting Team 1 in those moments.
Absolutely.
I love what we're seeing in this map so far. I mean, it's just excellency in terms of those adjustments, the adaptations, one after the other. When it feels like Finesse has got a great read in the way that EG are playing, they take the timeout, take the pause, and answer back, taking the lead in this map. NRG not finished yet, though, obviously. Now they've got their final timeout, can utilize this and see if they can correct the course before it's too late.
Finesse said yesterday when I talked to him that this has been the most stressed that he's ever been trying to get into a Masters tournament. The competition levels have just increased so much.
Yeah, not surprised.
Teams like EG show you why. I mean, not only is NRG having to fight against top South American teams like Loud, for example, their perennial rivals, but he's also having to put down upstarts from his own backyard.
And
people like
tell.
EG and C9.
A little bit as well. I mean, they were running the content pieces and hearing, you know, from NRG, they were upset that they lost the initial matchup. They feel like they shouldn't have lost it. You know, they're viewing EG as that scrappy rookie team almost still, even with some of the veteran presence that's been added in. And, you know, there is that level of disrespect towards it. You know, a bit of that rivalry between both of them and a tech pause, of course. Couldn't escape it.
No, it wouldn't be a true Valorant BO5 without it, would it?
Couldn't escape it. Hopefully quite short, so we'll be getting back into it because it's starting to get tense, isn't it? 11-10.
Yeah, and of course, there's always chances to rebound. It doesn't matter too much which way this first map goes. There are always ways of recovering, but you want to start out on a good foot, especially when maps like this can be the common ground, kind of, in the middle of both teams' map pools.
Yeah. Monitor issue on the stage just to keep you all up to date.
Thank you. Good info.
Yeah, no problem.
Appreciate it.
I'll get up there soon as well. I'll fix it. It's probably a cable problem. Swap that one out.
I was talking just then about how Finesse was stressed so badly in these in these big matches to get to Tokyo. Both of these teams already made it to Masters, but now they're hunting for that regional title, to be the first team to be able to claim yourself the winner of VCT Americas.
Yeah.
And of course, Loud waiting there in the grand finals for either of these winners. But NRG was also, they were pushed almost to the brink and off the brink yesterday. I think part of that revenge story here in this game is punishing EG, trying to get revenge against EG for even forcing them to go through that trauma.
Yes, the path that they've had to take in the lower bracket. I think we haven't really discussed it too much, but there is that idea, that semblance of, you know, revenge for both of these teams. Both of them want that chance in the grand finals to take it again to Loud. You think about it. I mean, there's a rivalry that's spanning the many years. NRG versus Loud. That's unfortunate. Hopefully she's not watching.
She'll be bitterly disappointed.
Yeah.
But yeah, both teams have had some extraordinary games against Loud, that team in the grand finals recently.
Exactly, and so they're both going to be looking for that next chance just before all these teams end up going to Tokyo. See if they can battle them once more in the grand finals of Americas and maybe get something going. A bit of a revenge match definitely there.
During these tech pauses, the players are not allowed to talk, but it doesn't mean the players aren't allowed to think. And while Boostio's obviously the one that has this monitor issue, you can see him fiddling with it.
He's wrangling with it, isn't he?
But this, you know, you hear from Finesse quite a lot that what he needs most in matches like this is time. Time to think. Time to mull things over. And sometimes that comes in the middle of a round where he asks his players just to chill and wait and hold for him as he comes up with the call. But, you know, pauses like this might be able to give him that moment to think and reflect too.
Internalize what needs to be done here. We ready to go? It looks like it almost raring, but we'll see. Final tests, making sure that the monitor's in order before we jump back into this one. Obviously, map 1 here, lower bracket finals, best of 5 territory. And with the way that both of these teams have been playing, of how back and forth it's been, I really do feel, Josh, that we might have a full 5 mapper on the cards. It's always the chance of it, because these teams have been so even.
Yeah, I think that's quite likely. You look at the map pool, it's pretty back and forth. All right, so let's get back into it. The score 11-10, EG coming off a timeout have managed to retake the lead. Artist Operator looking like he wants to poke down B.
Straight down the middle of the map. Someone watching his window. Same play towards A long. It's the pull and the stun to punish. A flick and an adjustment not there. And Boostio.
How does he get away with that?
What a reward. Sets himself up nicely for the beginning of this round. Artis, you look to him to try and shut down those playmakers like Demon 1, and with him no longer in the fight, hard pressed.
Not ready yet.
Where does the next advantage come from? Jump spot, info gathered. Use the Trailblazer. He's just jiggling it just in case it gets broken.
So he spotted 2 players over there towards A long.
This Demon 1.
Keep 3 on the side.
Yeah, I did spot the Jet player, which sometimes means, okay, well, they're probably going to be heavily grouped up over here, but sometimes Demon 1 does like to lurk in those positions as well. Doesn't actually tell you too much.
Still, though, NRG keep 3 players here, and that's allowed Boostio entry into B. The Killjoy utility got put up C Garage early because Artis was playing in this spot. And now he's removed. Boostio's set up on the timing. It looks so good.
Yep, 30 seconds. The time running it down all the way. And it's all set up from the flash. Round the back, Boostio does his best, does the work. 3 in a round, was hunting for the 4th. But already, the job is finished just from that one timing. EG set themselves up. This will be that 12th round. One more step away from claiming the opening map here in our lower bracket finals.
And it's been close. Both pistols going the way of EG, but they've also put together some gorgeous gun rounds, like this one. All set up from the IGL of Boostio with his gun skill and timing. Part of EG's unbelievable run recently, since squeaking into the playoffs, has just been the raw form that these players are in.
Yeah.
The roster on paper's got a lot of firepower. Boostio, Jogumo, Demon 1, Ethan, like, Com 2 has been playing pretty well off his utility, but in terms of like big fraggers, Jogumo and Boostio used to be heavy hitters, and now they've moved on to more supportive roles. But when they're still feeling it, when they're hitting shots like this, they sun run like crazy.
Oh, yeah. This is an EG that's been fixing as well. A lot of those problems.
30 seconds.
The little
painted with. Yeah,
the little jiggle
there.
to bait out the op shot.
So nice.
And then wallbang kill.
Enemy
It's
remaining.
just beautiful from Boostio. That's what a new monitor will do to you.
He's like, yeah, the problem's fixed. I got it, guys. Don't worry. Would have been doing that all game long. But here we are. One more round. We'll do it. With the lead gained. Same setup, same util being used at the beginning to punish shit artists.
Wow, nice idea.
Yeah. Great way to strike back and strike fear maybe into the hearts of them. Close to the corner. It's a flash. It's dodge. Smoke at his feet just to avoid it. Flashes on flashes to push them away on either side. And well, on the other side of the map, there was damage being done to Finesse. Lucky to escape. 9 HP.
Recalling my bot.
Boostio's causing a lot of chaos around here. He's already inside this cove.
Oh, wait.
Oh, the timing is just brutal here, potentially.
Some trying to bait like he expects the re-push. Side by side, watches it. I was wondering, using the cove early there, but works out for him. Nets that kill. He knows to expect that re-push as well. An attempt still being made here. Victor holding for the smoke. Does he adjust the aim in time? He does not. It's Ethan who wins it. Lovely bit of spam after shot. Collecting the timing, yet Jorgamo, he wins the fight anyway. And this is a double push attempt to punish that one. 2 players left standing now. It is a 2v3. NRG had such a big lead in terms of that players they brought down prior. Calls made. Ethan and Com moving forwards in towards the back. A late swing from Ethan, only for the one. Running his way up, high tide, cuts his way across. Stun now, ripping through. Artist gets off it, but gets half. Spamming it all the way, forces Ethan to swing, but back onto it, the retap. Artist can just stick it. And safety in numbers. Som, he was watching for it, any sort of a re-push. Ethan didn't have the tools to try and push away that one and win it out.
Nice idea from Ethan, just going for the jump peek through the wall, seeing if he can pull the player off the defuse, but they'd lost too many bodies too early. So every round, EG have been going for this, the stun into the pull. And Artist gets up and over the top of it, unhurt by either of those, to collect the first. The small outplays based on what your opponents are doing constantly. That's how you do the micro anti-stratting. Final round of regulation here. Artist with an operator again. NRG kind of scrambling to get into their defensive positions. There's only Crashies here on the A side.
Yeah, really late adjustments. EG obviously offloading again the same tools, the same utility. Dart through the back, a flash as well. Crashies, he's got to be calling for this one. It feels like an A hit. And we can see that it is. EG moving, dash into the back. Demon 1's still there. Now gets the rifle out. High tide to try and grant them some space. Demon 1 still active. There's a gap here. As soon as that smoke did dissipate, now the Cosmic Divide cuts its way through. It's going to be preventing NRG from trying to play this one fast.
There's a Reckoning here.
Reckoning. It's going to make it hard to try and hold it down. The right-click Demon 1. He is a nuisance. Lurking this way, that way, pushing forwards. All the way, stunned up. NRG claiming all the kills. They want to bring this one to OT. A fight to be taken forwards towards them. Pulling it down, Ethan! He lands 2 of the shots. Com with the Hunter's Fury, and he can push them off the plant. Already to defuse. It is not halfway. EG, have they done enough? Time ticking short. Not half on the defuse. Crashies. It's just sheer impossibilities. And it's Com who sails it to it. 13-11, map 1 under their belt.
What a way to finish the first map there. And I think NRG will come away from that the same way EG did last time. We had a very close game, but we lost both pistols. Frankly, though, there were so many moments there where both teams had great ideas of how to outplay their opponents. That final round, it looked like EG had pulled off the retake. It looked like we were heading into overtime. And Ethan steps up with a huge 2K, playing fantastically on the breach all throughout map 1. And sets up Com for the slam dunk clutch with his recon dart, as we saw way back in the pistol.
Com with his Hunter's Furies, man. Not afraid to let it rip to try and create those openings, but he saved them in the end there. Denying any sort of defuse, the 7 months of it, 13-11. We did not get brought to that overtime.
This opening map, really important as well for EG to get. We've talked about this, but it's a BO5, it's a marathon, and NRG have that stamina, have the experience. I think the best way for EG to win this game is to hit the maps heavy early.
Stepping away up next, GB and the Atlas test will be breaking down map number 1. Do not go anywhere.
What is this from EA? He is currently unstoppable. True. He is just a consistent demon. El Diablo.
Hey guys, it's EA. Welcome to my course on optimal VALORANT training. I'm going to be demonstrating now some angle clearing. I'll slowly come around the corner as well, making sure no one's on these off angles.
Red Bull gives you wings. Red Bull gives you wings.